Good evening. My name is Jessie Ruiz. I'm the Recruiting Manager for American Implement. I'm so happy that you're joining this Zoom meeting tonight. It is our first AgTech Zoom Career Fair. We're very excited about you all being here. We have a lot of participants. I want to thank you for that. I want to do a little housekeeping before we go any further. I want to make sure, can everybody hear me? There's a little button down at the bottom that says chat. Could you do me a favor? Could you just say, if you can hear me, just type in there, say yes, so that we know that you can hear me. Someone's saying yes, so I know something's working here. So real quickly, we're gonna do a little housekeeping here so we know what we wanna do. We wanna stay on task. We have 30 minutes of wonderful information for you. We'll have 2 videos, we'll have a PowerPoint presentation, and then we're gonna do a Q&A. Basically questions, answers, 15, 20 minutes. If we run a little bit over, that's okay. We have a lot of participants. But before we get started, I need this to help Jack out because Jack is my Zoom administrator. We need to know, if you in that chat box, I need to know your name, your email address, your cell phone number, and where you're calling from or where you're from, so that we can follow up with you. The reason we're doing that is because we will be sending you some information on American Implement Scholarship. $35,000 is a lot of money. I know there's a lot of parents on this call right now, and I appreciate you moms sending me the email saying, hey, I want to be part of this Zoom meeting. So we're really excited. Before I go any further, I want to thank a couple of partners that are on the phone on the Zoom meeting also. We have some schools from Wyoming, we have schools from Colorado, we have schools from Texas. So thank you for being here. We partner up with these colleges. It's exciting. This is a new thing. We're really, really excited about being here tonight. Real quickly, this is your night, guys. This is your night as a student. This is where we want to reach out to you as a student. It's going to be very easy. You get to ask the questions. I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. As we go through the presentation, and I know I speak very quickly, but I want to keep on task here. Send your information to us. Send the questions to us, and we will try to answer those questions after we get done with the PowerPoint. So let's go ahead and get started with our first video. This video is what John Deere and what American Implement is going to be doing in the future. It's a very good video. I hope you enjoy it.
The front should pass by midday. Based on drainage and when the rain stops, we should be able to start spraying by end of day.
Yeah. Drew on his way back?
He said he was checking on the boys.
All right.
Message from Walker Keane, John Deere dealer.
Hey, Drew. Updated and checked your combines remotely. All machines are optimized for harvest season.
Message to Walker. That's great. Thanks. Send.
Message sent.
Kate, did you see the latest?
Looking at it now.
Dad's, worried.
With the solutions the agronomist sent me, he'll be better. How are the boys?
They're working where we can't, and they'll be on it all night.
They'll get it done.
Your machines are set for projected yield and moisture. And we're also updating firmware on Harvester 3 tonight.
That's great. Hey, let's take a look at fields 5 and 6 tomorrow. May want to change some settings there.
Yeah, sure thing. We'll check in tomorrow. Have a good one.
Thanks. You too, buddy. Go to field 5 and aggregate all. Mark.
Aggregate Field 5. Recommendations from agronomist. Phosphorus nitrogen application on sections 2, 8, and 27 with health predictions.
Go with solution 2, field 5.
Solution 2, Field 5.
They look great.
Mm-hmm.
With the weather, prices are up by 10 cents at the elevator. Want to sell?
It's not bad.
Yep. Shall we?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's get your career started tonight. Let's talk about the real stuff now. How we're going to get you to the next level, okay? How the John Deere Tech program works. It's a 2-year program. It's a PowerPoint presentation. It's going to be short. It's going to be about 8 to 10 minutes here. As we go through the slides, please make sure that you're asking the chat questions so that we can answer those questions for you. So let's go ahead and get started with that PowerPoint. So here we go. AgTube Zoom Career Fair 2021. Next slide, please. How does this work? Well, our Ag Tech program, American Implement, we're very proud of it. It's 100% full ride scholarship. You get 100% paid tuition for room, board, fee, and books. Guaranteed employment after you get out of that program. This is a great thing because this is a 2-year program that you, as a student, once you get into there, you're going to graduate with a guaranteed employment after you get out of that core certification John Deere Tech program. It's very important that you understand that this is a full ride scholarship. You will never see a bill from the school. It comes directly to our American Implement offices and we take care of that. We work with the student. This is a contractual agreement. Just so you know, if you're over the age of 18, you don't need a cosigner. If you're under the age of 18, you will need a parent to be cosigner on this. This is a contractual agreement. One thing, if you look at the slide, there's a little hyphen down there, asterisk, it says $2,000 tool bonus, pending GPA. Let's just leave that on pause right now. We're gonna talk about that here in a little bit a couple of slides down the road here. But I want you to note that number right down there, 620-258-0009. That's my cell phone number. That's how you can get in touch with me and we can starting this conversation with you. Let's get going. Add value, $35,000. That's a lot, okay? American Implement Ag Tech Sponsor Program is for everyone who desires to go into the agriculture industry, become a certified John Deere service technician, and basically work in the industry. Begin a competitive pay, career advancement, opportunities, rewarding work, and advanced training. This is a full ride scholarship that will cover your tuition, your fees, your room, your board. Your parents and you won't have to worry about this. You won't have to be stressed out while you're going to school that, hey, how am I gonna pay this when I get out of school? Full ride scholarship. How does this work? Basically, a $35,000 scholarship is a student loan through American Implement. We put the money up front as an investment for you as a student. And how that works, we'll talk about it here in the next few slides. But start thinking about that $35,000. How can they give us the money up front and what do we get for it in return? He's starting to sound like a snake charm salesman. No, I'm telling you that we're investing in you because we want you. We want to build our own. Our local kids from Kansas, all over the states, we want you to be part of our team. Next slide. This is what we call our $1 million photo. I love this photo. Every year we host a boot camp. It's one of the best days of my day in the year because our directors get to participate in this. Our director of service, our director of of development, our director of marketing, our CEO gets to participate. You get to meet our leading team. This is your day. We have a boot camp for you so that you come to Garden City and get to meet the leadership and how we're going to meet the next level to make you to the next level. Let's do this. It says we value you. We want to value you as a student. You're very valuable. There's a lot of jobs out there, a lot of industries. We're not looking for jobs. We're looking for careers. So young men, young ladies that want to make a career with John Deere and American Implement. Teamwork. We are about teamwork. American Implement, if you go to our website, you're going to see everything is about team, family, and teamwork. Join the American Implement family. It's one of the best companies. And you know what? The best part about it, we're 50 years strong. 50 years and strong, and we're still growing and we're still moving forward. And we're going to be the integrators. We're going to be the leaders of the industry. Next slide, please. This is one of my favorite times. We get to go visit the schools and we do signing scholarships. The slide to the top, on the very top, that's a picture of when we went to go visit the school in Ulysses, Kansas. One of the greatest days I can remember. 2 students there getting a $35,000 scholarship. The photo on the bottom is a young man from Norton, Kansas. We go to your high schools. We do a video. It's really nice to recognize that student in front of his peers. Nothing better than that. Plus the community comes out. They're very proud. $35,000? Who doesn't want my student to have a $35,000? And it's your day. You get to sign on a dotted line, just like that athlete. We're looking for the team player that becomes the athlete with John Deere. Next slide. How do I get this more information? Where do I know as a student? Where do we get started? Very easy. Here's how we get started. You go to the American Implement website. You're going to see the site in front of you. You're going to see the little tab that runs across left to right, the green sign. The third one, it says service. You're going to click on that. There's going to be a few more tabs that come down. And guess what's down there? It says John Deere Ag Tech. Click on that, guys. That's where you want to start. Click on it. Next slide. Here we go. How do I land this page? How do I get part? What schools do we work with? We work with Garden Community College in Garden City, Kansas, and we work with Southeast Community College in Milford, Nebraska. Now, somebody's always asking me, where in the world is Milford, Nebraska? Well, let me tell you where it's at. It's about 18 miles from Lincoln, Nebraska, the state capital of Nebraska. Both very good schools, very good instructors. In fact, I believe both directors of the John Deere Tech program are on this Zoom meeting. So if we have a little time and somebody wants to ask a couple questions, they can actually join in and have a couple of answers. Next slide. As you go through that slide, underneath that photo, you're going to see the 2 videos. We partnered up with Southeast Community College and with Garden City Community College and made videos. You'll get to see, Mom and Dad, I know you're always worried about where you're sending your student to. This is where you get to see where your students go. This is where you get to see who's going to instruct them, who's going to lead them, what are they going to learn. The other thing about this video is really good is it gives you an overview of the facilities of what your child is going to, your students going to, where the cafeteria is, where the library is. Both these colleges provide full-time tutors to help your student, okay? The other thing, we will also invite you to go do a visit with myself and the families to campuses when we get to that point. Next slide. Here's a very important slide. This is one we really need to make sure that we go spend a little bit more time on it because this is how we need to make sure that you understand what you're getting yourself in. You see that beautiful platinum toolbox, guys? That's the kind of toolbox you're going to get. That's the kind of toolbox. That toolbox right there is retailed at $18,000, but you get it at cost at $8,000. Now I'm going to go through a couple of things here because I want to make sure that I read this correctly to you and you understand it. This is a slide that I'm probably going to mail to you when you send your information to us because I want to make sure you parents understand this. The full ride scholarship is for books, fees, tuition, and food, everything, okay? We'll also provide a laptop. Here's where the student has to participate and have some ownership on this. The toolbox. You're going to have to participate in this. How this works is if you go through the slide, we're going to go through point bullet, but I can't read every single word that's on here, okay? Second line over. when you decide to attend, you have to be sponsored by a John Deere store. You can't just walk on to Garden City Community College and you just can't walk onto Milford and say, hey, I want to go to the John Deere Tech program. It doesn't work that way. You have to be sponsored by a local dealer. That's where American Implement meets with you, the student, and we become your sponsor, okay? Second line, must be willing to be commit a 48-month work term post-graduation, okay? Now, a lot of you are probably wondering, what does that mean? It means that once you graduate from the 2-year program, you have to come back to work for us for 4 years. That's how you pay that $35,000. You get a credit of $8,500 towards that student loan of $35,000, okay? That's how that works. There's no magic here. There's no payments here. It's you shake the hand, you sign the contract, we work with you, okay? By the way, the 4-year, 48-month commitment starts after you graduate from school, not before you go to school. It's a total investment of 6 years, folks. 2 years on campus, that's a school, 4 years with American Implement. Of course, we want you to stay and make a career with us. We want to be long-term, okay? So we want to make sure that you come straight, job guaranteed right out of college. Who does that? We do, American Implement does. Now, if you have some questions here, here's where you can start the chatter and start asking questions. We'll get to those questions here in a few minutes, okay? Now, you're wondering, this toolbox, I have to pay $8,000 for it. Yes, you do. But here's what we do. We, American Implement, will pay that $8,000 money up front. And how that works, basically, it works that you are not going to have any, you're not going to have any payments while you're in school. Not going to have any payments at all. You don't have to worry about, hey, how am I going to make a payment when I'm going to school? You don't need to worry about that, okay? After you graduate from college, then you start making a payment. You start making the payment of $246, I believe, in the next 4 following years, okay? Now, there is going to be a little interest on this. There is a $900 interest fee on that $8,000 loan. So you're going to be paying a total amount of $8,900. Just make sure we got that. Now let's go back to that previous slide that had an asterisk and it had $2,000 GPA. Remember that? It was like the second slide. Here's where this is really important. If you students maintain a 3.00 to a 3.45 GPA, you will get a $1,500 bonus towards that toolbox, okay? Also, if you keep a 3.5 and better GPA, that bonus will go also towards your toolbox. Technically, if you're a good student, you're going to be paying between $6,000 to $6,500 for that toolbox. That's a pretty good investment. And I'm going to tell you what, I don't think you could get anything better than that. By the way, someone's asking me just a few questions. How do you know we stay or keep our GPA? I'm going to just tell you right now. I keep very involved with the instructors, with the directors, and we know your grades. We know what's going on, okay? The next line down, let's talk about internships. You sophomores, you juniors, you seniors, we want you to do internships prior to you going to school. We want you to see if this is really what you want to do as a career. We want you to be really focused and be 2 chapters ahead of the other students that go out of high school right into college. No, we want you to do that internship where you do some on-hands training with some mentor technicians. And what better way to learn? Be 2 chapters ahead of everybody else. Now let's talk about internship. How am I going to get paid? Well, once you get on our scholarship program and you get accepted, all of our students start at a certain wage, depending on your experience, okay? But we have a set standard that we work with. All of our students, when they go start the college, will be at $14 an hour. That's our starting wage, $14. When they go into their second year of schooling, they will be at $16. When they graduate from school, they will be at $18. Now, this is all depending on performance, young men and young ladies. This really depends on you when you're working at the college, when you're going to school and coming back and working at the dealerships. It's called a cooperative. You go to school for a semester, you do a cooperative. You go back and do a cooperative, and you go back to school, and you come do a summer cooperative. So It's really important that you understand that we have to keep those GPAs up there and making sure that we staying in a standard across the board. Now, second line from the bottom, you must maintain a 2.5 GPA, must maintain it. Now we know we want to get you acclimated to this. It gets you hard when you're leaving home, leaving from a small town to a bigger town. We'll give you a chance to get acclimated, but we need to make sure we stay at that 2.5 GPA. Very last line on this slide. Our application deadline is May 15, 2021. So if you're a student that's thinking about doing this, we need to make sure we get the conversation started now. Now, we will work with that a little bit if you're a little bit after that. I know there's some students right now that are in other schools right now that are going to diesel schools that want to basically come in at a different time. We want to make sure you stay in touch with us, okay? So we're going to go on to the next slide and go forward. And please keep sending those chats. We want to answer those questions. Same thing, going online, go to our career tab. You're going to see the online. You'll see this come up. You're going to click on the little tab that says Ag Tech Application. All you got to do is click on that, 10 quick questions, submit and apply, you're in. I get your information, and that's where we start the conversation. I really want to thank you. We're not done yet, though, because this is the most important part of the presentation tonight, this Zoom meeting. We're going to start the Q&A questions right now and answer some of your questions. There will be a video that we'll be showing here towards the end about American Implement being 50 years strong. You're going to see our owner and operator and our CEO, his dad himself, talking about who we are, family, why we're part of this community, why we're such a good company to work for. So I'm going to open this up to chat now. Does anybody have any questions? What are the jobs available with American Implement? That's the question. You need to go to our website, go to our career site. Right now we have irrigation specialists. We need service technicians, of course. We need parts specialists. We need service managers. We need irrigation service managers. We have a lot of positions that are open. So I would direct you straight to our website and look up all the jobs. Next question. Biggest difference between both schools. The difference is the Garden City Community College is a bigger, larger community in Garden City. Milford is a very small community. You're talking about maybe 2,000, 2,500 people. Same school system, same 2-year program. That's the only difference. Good question. What kind of dorms do they have at Garden City Community College? They have what's called bronc busters. They're quads. So basically 4 students can live in the dorm rooms, or you can live 2 individuals. There's different types. That's when we start doing the campus visits. That's how we'll be able to determine which way we want to. By the way, we keep all the John Deere students that attend these schools together as groups. There's other dealerships throughout the United States that send students to the colleges. So we keep the John Deere students always together. Question is, can you keep pursuing a bachelor's degree after the 48-month commitment? We're going to school every day at American Implement, at John Deere. We're always going to school. So yes, online, if that's what you want to do. We do a lot of in-house training. Our director of development, this is what she does. She's a professionist. Britt, she's up there. She worked for John Deere Corporate. And I'll tell you what, if anybody can get you trained to the next level, it's that young lady right there. A good question coming from Carl. Can he internship a couple of days at the dealership? Good question. It depending on the location, because different school districts have different work studies. Some schools will pay you. I know down in Ulysses, they have a work study program that will let the kids go in there and pay them so many hours. Colby has a different program. So you really need to, this is where you need to start talking to your guidance counselor. She or he can help you a little bit with that. Job shadowing, we would love to do it, but technically we have to be very careful because of our insurance carrier. We need to make sure that you're being taken care of and that we're being taken care of. So my instructions to you, or my guidance to you, would be talk to your guidance counselor.
Jesse, I can actually add on to that answer about wanting to continue the education. Garden City partners with several different schools here in Kansas, Fort Hays State University and Pittsburgh State University, and they work directly with our associates program, and they will take classes such as our hydraulics, electrical, all of the John Deere classes, and they will use those credit hours and apply that towards several different types of bachelors that you can get.
That's why I have him on the phone. That's why he's in the Zoom meeting. He's the director of the John Deere program. He can answer those questions. That's why we have a lot of people on this. There's a lot of smart people on this call, by the way. Okay, this question comes from Pedro. So Pedro, what you're asking is, can you work while you're going to school? So if you're going to the Garden City Community College, it's a little bit easier for us to let the students work on campus. When I say on campus, they leave the campus and they go work at their stores that's sponsoring them. It's a little bit closer for them. If you're attending Southeast Community College, you're not going to be able to drive back and forth to the stores. It's about 7.5 hours, 8-hour drive one way. Yes, you can, Pedro. I think you were one that was reaching out to me that wanted to go into Johnson City to be a sponsor. You could work on the weekends. I believe, Gabe, can you give me just a little bit of a window of what they go to school from Monday through Thursday? Is that correct?
That's correct. We try to schedule our program specifically so that it's Monday through Thursday, allowing them to be able to go back to their shops and work on Friday and Saturday if they so choose.
Great question, Pedro. By the way, Pedro's calling. He's zooming in from El Paso, Texas. Any other questions? We'll take some open mic questions too if anybody wants to get.
Yeah, Jesse, somebody suggested we talk about our different locations and just where these opportunities potentially could be.
Thank you for bringing that up. So we have a flyer that's right here. We have 60 different locations. For you young men and young ladies that need more information, we'll be more than glad to send you this flyer. We have 16 beautiful locations. In fact, we're in one of our new expansions here in Goodland, Kansas. Jack, we're blessed that we're sitting here inside of a new heated, I can see the heaters on top, and Jack was telling me we're gonna be cold in there. No, we're not cold. It is like being in your office, but yes, we will send this information to you. Once we get your information, I promise we'll get this to you within the next couple of days. For you students, I just had a question real quickly. For the Wild Tech guys and the UTI guys and the Western Tech guys, there is a flyer that we'll be also sending to you that has some testimonials from students that have gone from the Diesel Tech program. Let's say if they want to go to the Wild Tech and then they want to go to the John Deere Tech program. We are having students do that, older students that want to actually go further education so they feel they're more comfortable in being in the John Deere world.
Hey, Jesse.
Yes.
Tell everybody about the amazing opportunities to even progress within American. I just spent some time with you this last week, and I was absolutely impressed with the culture that you have there at American, the family oriented, everybody's kind of looking out for everybody. You know, and each location was just a little bit different, but it was really a neat experience. And I think maybe hearing some of the different opportunities to progress in their career would be helpful too.
Great question, Cindy. Cindy got to come out here with her representative. We met last week, and she got to actually visit 5 stores, 5 locations. And in fact, she got to meet this location where we're at right now. Took her to a smaller location up in Wheeler, walked through that, and then we ended up in Colby. One of our largest locations. And then we have a student from Wild Tech, Johnny Navarez, who I recruited. One of my very first students I recruited for American Implement, who is in our wonderful store in Leota. Got to have lunch with the representatives from Wild Tech. And then Cindy and her representative, Mike, wanted to go see the new store. We have a beautiful brand new store that's was built in Syracuse, Kansas. We're going to open it up, I believe in December. It's just brand new from the top. Our facilities, guys, if you're a student and you want to worry about safety, you want to worry about, heated floors, do these people invest in their employees? Of course they do. We just built a $1.8 million expansion here in Goodland. We did an expansion in Scott City, Kansas. We just did an expansion in Leota, Kansas. We just built a new store in Syracuse. So yes, Cindy, to answer your question, one of the things that I sat down with you and Mike was to be part of our company, you have to be a team player. TEAM. There
you go.
Talent, enthusiastic, be held accountable, and be motivated. Team. What does a team have to have? has to have direction. It has to have leaders that want to be part of the team that wins championships. I say it in the video. We have a video that we play and we're very proud of it. American Implement, we are the varsity of John Deere and we're very proud of that. Right now we have 15 students in 2 different colleges. And I'll tell you what, Gabe's doing a great job down there in Garden City and they've done an expansion this year. We're growing. And we in the ag industry, we have to build our leaders. We have to build and find our leaders for the future. This is a great company to work for. Thanks for the question, Cindy.
I'd like to tag on to that as far as opportunities beyond being a technician. We have quite a few folks that have gone up the ladder, I guess you could say, or have gained extra responsibilities.
Very good point.
Top foremans, becoming service managers. So, you know, yes, I love development. I love seeing these guys advance in their career. So not only are we going to continue to teach them to be more efficient and better at their jobs, but yeah, there's always opportunities to advance into different roles even. You start out in the service department, that is a great avenue to go into parts, into sales, and even we have location managers that started out wrenching. So just because you start as a technician doesn't mean you're going to end your career as a technician. You can, if it's what you love and if it's what you enjoy, but we'll get you plugged in on different products. If you become interested in different products, different things of equipment, you want to specialize in engines, whatever. So definitely, it's always, as Jessie said, we're always going to school. I like that comment. So,
and as Britt said, she's our director of development. You're not gonna. This is not a job. If you're looking for a job, you need to go somewhere else. This is a career. We want to make you a long-term career. I've seen this story that Britt's talking about. I've seen a young man start out as a technician. Next thing you know, 3, 4, 5 years down the road, he becomes a service manager. Then he succeeds at that. The next level, he becomes a location manager. And after that, he does a great job as location manager. Well, he replaces himself and he becomes a district manager. You're always growing and you're always going to be with a winning team, the green team. Who doesn't want to work for the green? Any other questions?
Well, I would just throw out one more compliment to American. That was one of the things that really made a huge impact on me while we were there, was to visit your Lodi store and to meet the young man that you guys have running that operation. And I could not have been more impressed. And he started out as a wrenching, and it taught me that American, and you guys see potential, you develop it very well. And that if a tech is motivated, American gives techs opportunities. And I was really impressed walking away with that. I mean, it was just truly a great experience. So I know that anybody considering American Implement as a employer is definitely making a great choice.
Well, thanks for the comment. I think I know you're talking about Duke.
Yes.
Duke is a great young man. He's from the state of Arkansas, moved down to Texas, lost his position, and guess what? We found him. We brought him in. He's doing a great job at our Syracuse. You can't be more motivated than that young man. I guarantee you he's pretty motivated. Students, I'm just going to really quickly, because I know we're running into a little late here. This is taking a little longer than I thought. But I want to make sure that we get your information, names, emails, cell phone numbers, and where you're calling from. So I want to make sure we get this information to you. For those of you on schools, I know Western Tech's is on the Zoom meeting. I know Wild Tech's on the Zoom meeting. Anybody that we can talk to, I know Garden City Community College is on this call also. We're here to give that information. I work very closely with all these instructors. Looking forward to going up to Wild Tech to go see their facilities and talk to their students, pursue them to go into the John Deere Tech program. I want to thank you for being part of tonight. This is where we start your career. I want to close by saying this: only you can control where you go, and only you can dream of where you're going to go. Let us help you. Let us reach those stars. I've seen 50 kids go through that John Deere school up in Milford, and I've seen 25 students that I've helped put through that program. This is a great opportunity. Don't pass it up, okay? It's full ride scholarship. Mom and Dad, if you need more information, that phone number, by the way, the last slide is 620-258-3600. 0009. That's my phone number. I'll be more than glad to talk to you. That's my job, is to get them to the next level. I thank you. We're going to close with our American video, 50 years strong. Thanks and have a great evening.
Well, I think it's great that to be able to survive 50 years. Most small businesses don't last 50 years. Lots of luck. A lot of determination.
We do represent the best farm equipment manufacturer in the world, John Deere. Nobody builds the highest quality advanced machines like John Deere does. And no other manufacturer is committed to technology in the future like John Deere. So American Implement is very fortunate that we represent the industry leader. We have some of the most productive and progressive customers anywhere. We're grateful for all our customers. Without their support, trust in us, American Implement would not be here 50 years later.
Both great customers and also great employees. Our employees are just as important as our customers. They're equally important, and we wouldn't be a success without both our employees and our customers.
Our people are our biggest asset. They are the differentiator. Our employees are focused, they're committed. They work extremely long hours. They're there to support our customers after hours in their peak seasons. So it takes good people. American Implement is 400 employees strong. Without each and every one of them, we would not be able to accomplish what we do.
We grew very, very rapidly the first 2 or 3 years. So we started with 4 employees, and today have substantially more than that. So
50 years is special. And we actually have 3 generations of the Coster family now involved in the business. So the next 25, 50 years will be equally as special. We will continue to invest in our communities. We're committed to those communities. We want to be a good steward in our communities, and we will continue to invest in our people in our area.
Done? Yep. Well, thank you. That's all I can tell you. It's been a great evening. I hope you get the information. You students, please reach out to us. You instructors, schools, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the evening, and thanks for being part of this Zoom meeting 2021. Thanks for everybody being here. Have a good evening.